We are live today. It is the 26th of August. We are almost back to school, and I have my next founder chat. And I am extremely excited to be talking to Amelie today. I had the pleasure of meeting her a few months ago at an event, and I was a little bit starstruck because, of course, I live in the neighborhood where her restaurant is. So I am extremely excited to have her on today, and we get to chat about all the things she's doing because, oh my goodness, the more you learn about Amelie, the more you realize that she is doing 800 things at once, and I cannot wait. There she is!
You're so kind. How are we doing for sound? Sound check. Check.
We're doing good. We're doing good. I've been looking forward to this all summer, and I've been following you on all your social medias, seeing all the very cool things you've been doing, all the different markets, travel, all of the things. So congratulations on all of it, because
Thank you,
it's a
Caitlin.
busy summer.
Thank you. I know. I overheard you when I was logging in that we met on that rooftop patio, and it was like an instant connection. Just mompreneurs and like local business, and then you also a family-owned business, and we're kind
Yes.
of taking it over. So there's a lot of synchronicity or synchronicities
I was
that we
actually
have.
thinking that too, because as I was looking at your bio, and then as we were doing a little more dive into all the things you are currently doing, I was like, the list, we were writing it down, we're like, and this, and she's doing this, and she's got this happening. And I'm like, she is the woman that does it all of it. And then I saw, of course, the co-founding of Anh and Chi, and of course, family business, and um, I am, of course, very used to being in family businesses. But my mom, when she was deciding what she wanted to do, she asked the family, like, does someone want to take it on? And I was really hesitant, and I was like, I don't think I can do it. You are one of a kind. I can't, I'm not sure I can do it. So she ended up selling the company to Jameson Wellness. And then 2 years later, I just decided to do it anyways on my own. And she's like, you said you didn't want it. And I was like, I know, I changed my mind. I
That is a
realized that it
solid
really was what I wanted.
That's a solid 2 years, right? 2 years of like reflection, growth, and then just finding that courage. I think that's the hardest step is we might have that dream and then we're working out our inner feelings and like, can we do it? And then there's just something. And I tell people sometimes your profession, your career chooses you. I think in
Yes.
this situation, you like consciously said no, but then something brought you back.
Yes, yes. And for me, it was my kids that brought me back. It was definitely finding a solution for them. So that was like my link back. But even then, it was still like, oh, I think it's hilarious that I'm like, yep, this is what I'm going to do. I'm back at it. I'm going to do it again. And of course, I'm very happy with my choice. But yeah,
Absolutely. Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So yes, you can do it, and you probably could do it, not better, but differently,
it's
and I'm
true.
sure your mom is looking with like super proud eyes.
Yes, no, she definitely is. And I work with my brother as well, one of my
Oh,
brothers. So,
yeah.
I get
Family dynamics.
the family
Well, you should have
dynamics are always
seen
there.
his text to me this morning. It's really intense. Our family texts are very intense.
You know, they're almost the best texts though, because they're very clear, very like, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I need done. Can you show up? Are you going to do it? And you're like, okay, yeah. But you're right. It's a different level when you're working with family um, than non-family.
Yes, yes. There are no like workers' rights when you're working with
No,
family.
no. There's no boundaries. There's no HR is like your family. Walk like, don't talk to us.
Right? I know. You're so organized. So how long have you been doing these live chats for?
About a year and a half for these ones. We started actually because I do a lot of Instagram lives with my mom for on education. So she educates and we do little chats like that. And then we realized as we were talking to a lot of the different women in the industry, they'd either never done an interview, never done a live, never done anything that's like spontaneous. So
Yeah,
I was like, well, let's just start doing it and then start talking on an Instagram live. You'll get used to it. And maybe you'll have clips for to use somewhere else. And so we kind of just started with that. And then I realized I didn't know enough about the companies around me. So that
right.
kind of was like, okay, well, now I learn about this. And I know the last one was on Some Good, which was freezies, the electrolyte freezies. And before that, it was deodorant. And now my cupboards have started changing to female entrepreneurs, Canadian based companies. And it's like slowly they're all kind of coming in. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I really do like that product. And my entire honey cabinet is Dutchman's Gold from Ontario. So it's been, it's been kind of eye opening, to be honest. I love it.
Amazing. Yeah, I find like when we maybe know the story or know the person or connect with the story, even if we don't know the person, like all of a sudden it tastes better, it feels better, and then it feels good spending that money and like, nourishing our bodies and our
Yes.
skin and yeah, I'm very proud. I always like, oh, this is like by so and so from this, town or in this neighborhood and it's also a form of education too, you're sharing, right? Like not everybody has the time to, or we go to trade shows, so we get to see like the latest and greatest and so we kind of get to be our
Experience
own
it all.
ambassadors and yeah, and share that. I know, I'm so proud. You know, it's kind of like the era for, how they have like hot girl era or whatever era. It's kind of the era for women entrepreneurs, of all backgrounds, really.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
completely agree. I was actually in London Drugs, and the honey from apples. I'm going to say it wrong. She's
Oh,
probably watching, so sorry. She makes honey from apples, and it's called honey. I'm pretty sure HUNNI. It's vegan
yes,
honey, so it's from apples.
yes,
And she put a thing out, and she was like, London Drugs told me I have to sell this much to stay on the shelf. And so the whole community was like, we're heading to London Drugs. We're going to buy it. We're going to stock up. We'll make sure that you're staying on the shelf. Because also when we get listed into these stores, sometimes we're on like the top shelf in the far corner
yeah,
and no one knows where we are. They can't find us. And so I think it's also really important to be like, okay, we have to hit these markers or they're going to drop us. So we've gotten the listing, the product's on the shelf, but
yes,
if no one knows we're there, then they
yes,
drop you and then you're done
yes,
again. Yeah.
yeah. That's kind of like, when running a business, and then this is what I'm also learning with the sauces. Getting it into the stores is just like one of the steps. It's
Yes.
like the end goal is people. It's like it going off the shelf, so we can continue the flow. Just
Yes.
like when a guest comes in, that experience is yes important. However, it's the follow up, the returning guest that comes in, or the guest that brings their friends that come in. That's
Yes.
kind of an indicator of success, just
Yeah.
like returning customers buying our vitamins and our sauces. I
It's
get
true.
it.
And that's what I want to talk about today. So I know that your background is nowhere near restaurant, except for that's more
I
family,
know.
but your
I
actual
know.
education, when I was
Yes.
looking into it, I'm like, you did a nice jump, a nice jump from one avenue back into family
Oh,
restaurant and entrepreneur life and everything.
yes.
So tell us a little bit about that switch from it's public health, right? You were in
Public
public health?
health. Yeah.
Yeah.
My background was in like virology testing, and way back when I worked for the health authority or the hospital here, and I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare. Like, I have a very nurturing kind of like soul. And then um, I was stuck in a virology lab for the longest time. I was like, you know what? I'm in my 20s. There's like a world to see. I can't be stuck in this white lab coat and these white walls. And so I actually studied population public health in Australia.
Oh, wow.
I did some volunteer work in Africa and Kenya, and I realized, you know what? Our Canadian hats, we want to go help, but people there already, they're intuitive, they know, they've been doing things for thousands of years, and so I wanted to go and learn, how do we promote healthy living, connected communities, equitable health, but through the people. And so it's like, okay, let's do a global masters of public health, and I kind of learned a lot about like health equity and community development, and how to properly go in and collaborate and work with people and communities and learn from, rather than like come in with like our Western views and say
Yes,
this is the
yes.
way to do it. So it was beautiful, and I even did a stint with the World Health Organization, doing HIV. Like I was an epidemiologist. Oh, such a big word. For some time, and then I decided to, it just fate happened, and I came back and wanted to start a family. I think having a family and that connectedness in a family that I grew up with, I really wanted to create for myself. So I came back to Vancouver, and the jump was unexpected to back to the restaurant industry. It was very sad and hard. But our dad passed away at 55. He was very young.
Yes.
And my mom, we had a family restaurant throughout the 80s. It was a very popular hole in the wall on Main Street. It was called Pho Hwan back in the day. And I did my homework, and they always told me to go to school. So all three kids went to school and away from the hospitality business. But when he passed, my brother was in medical school, and he wasn't doing too well, and he was like, he reflected. He's the youngest in the family, but the boy in the Asian family, and he's like, life is too short. Dad passed away. I love business. I love cooking. I love interior design. I want to take over the family business. And I knew like on Main Street there it was growing. It was still like very working kind of neighborhood, quiet. But I could see the potential of Main Street. It borders the west main side of Vancouver and some great small like kind of like vintage shops popping up. And then we started on and Chi together. My mom's a chef, and my brother, and our roles kind of our family dynamic, our roles kind of fell into place really easily. My brother loves like he's like logical. He gets his hands dirty. He does it. So he runs the ops and finance, and my mom's a chef because it's like third generation from her mom who cooked in Vietnam
Oh, I
to
love that.
my mom, and then to us now. I can't say me. I'm a home cook. Just want to be clear.
You're like, that's not
Uh,
me. It's fine.
yeah, and then I love storytelling. I love like the whole equity piece and like valuing our heritage and really figuring out my Vietnamese Canadian identity and all of that through the process. I rolled into the marketing, branding, community side and all the collaborations and pop up and just connecting with community. That's kind of where I glow and I love, and it's not even work. So that's kind of how our Anh and Chi became. And we've been so lucky, COVID hit, and that's kind of how the sauces started.
Yes.
So COVID hit, and I had before COVID existed, I was like, oh, people love the restaurant, they love the sauces. Maybe, I'm thinking about legacy and heritage, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll bottle the sauces one day. It'll be like my 2-year plan. My 2-year plan became a 2-month plan when COVID hit, and my brother called me and was like, you know what, my phone is going off the hook. We have a team at that time, about 50 people at Ananchi, and everybody's like, do we still have our jobs? And hospitality is paycheck to paycheck. It was really tough. We're like a small family business. My brother's like, I can't sustain it. I can't sustain it for a team for more than like 2 months.
Yeah.
What do I do? And I was like, well, why did you start the business in the first place? Think about it. Call me back. The hard big sister vibes. And within 5 minutes, he called me back. He's like, you know what? We're gonna stay open. I'll do whatever it takes. You're creative. Why don't you think of like projects? Just keep the team busy. We'll keep the team fed, and we'll just roll with it.
Yeah.
And so the sauces got bottled. We started like a factory in the restaurant. We made these like quick labels. We borrowed like our Powell Brewery, great family over there. We borrowed their handheld labeler machine to label our
I
bottles. I
love it.
had, my kids, they were babies, like just there. We all had our masks and gloves on. We were bottling these bottles there, and it worked. It worked. People at that time, you remember we were locked down. People were
Hmm.
lonely, empty, and that was just like a little something from like the world that they remember, and they can cook it and nourish their family. That they're what 4 or 6 to their group. Like we had to isolate.
Yes. Oh,
So
yes.
it worked. And then when the restaurants restrictions opened up, my brother's like, okay, you got to move this factory out. Like I got to shut this down. I got to run and operate
You were
and
like,
bring,
what?
I know, bring money in for the team. This is not, I mean, it's make, very little, you get by,
Yeah.
starting us off,
It's
any kind of
it's the
CPG.
start is always very hard.
And so I moved it out, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this on. And so it's like woman led. I'm like, okay, I'll take this on as my side project. The restaurants can be our family thing. I want to do this. I want something that is on the shelves beyond my time, beyond my children's time, like, and be a part of the Canadian history. Like amazing immigrant families, amazing sauces, and just like having representation on shelves was important. And like something that's so good, right? Like Anna and Chi's the test kitchen, and it's been so successful. My mom's, I don't know if you know this, she, without any formal training, she's earned a Michelin Bib Gourmand. She's the first Canadian woman,
Oh,
first
wow.
Vietnamese Canadian woman in Canada to earn a Michelin Bib Gourmand.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And one that is actually in the kitchen every day, right? Yeah, 3 years in a row. And so I mean, like everything, the world just is just saying yes to it. There's challenges in our business, and but yeah, it's just it happened. And the beautiful thing about this story is, and it continues, is like, yes, we have a sauce line now. When restaurants opened up, while other restaurants were suffering from not enough staff after COVID, everybody, like life
Yeah.
changes,
Oh,
different
yes.
thoughts.
Yes.
We had a full-on team, and so we were
Yeah.
able to open up and like jump back faster than ever. And I think it's just coming down to like the values and doing right for your team, and yeah, and like holding that family values first and foremost, and then everything comes into place. I mean, for our business model and for our family. Yeah.
Oh, no, I completely agree with you. You always go, why, like you said about your brother, why did you start it? And I actually had a conversation with my mom a few weeks ago about something because I had someone senior in the industry say something, and I was kind of like, I don't know what that means, and I don't know how I feel about the comment. And I was kind of replaying it to her, and she was like, yeah, but you don't need that comment from them. Why'd you start the company? You don't need to listen to that. Think about why and stay true to what you've done. She's like, then it will all fall into place. She's like, once you start veering and listening to the people who are potentially not on your side, she's like, that's when the disconnect happens and you start, it's not genuine anymore. It's not what you had originally wanted. So I completely agree with
Yes.
you on that front, that you do kind of have to have it stay in your vision or your family values and that kind of thing, whatever those are, kind
Yes.
of has to stay in that way.
Yeah, I think having that core, because everything's going to shake us. There's so much
True.
noise, influences, and if like that's how you build like team culture, that's how you build team brand or like a
Yes.
company brand, and then that's kind of where like the product development and stuff all stems from that. And I can give you an example. We opened Anh and Chi and recently Good Thief, our cocktail bar
Yes,
next
I
door,
saw that.
and I don't know if am I disclosing too much? No,
Never.
but we started on and we didn't really know what we're doing. Yes, we were like helped as a cashier and serving pho in our family restaurant growing up, but we really opened on and she didn't know what we were doing. So we're so hands-on. Every person that we hired, every cabinet that was built, we were there, right? Every
Yeah.
menu dish, we were there. Everything, like working 20 hours a day. Literally, I had like 4 hours of sleep and growing eyeballs in my stomach and working for Fraser Health at that time. Anyway, that's another story. But
It's the
so
things that we do, and you're like, why did I do that?
I know. And so Arenchi organically grew. Like it started from family working together for family. My brother wanted to make sure he took care of his mom and his sisters, being like the boy in the family. And so we ran Arenchi, and like this culture that was built from the leadership that we worked with at the beginning kind of kept trickling down, and now everybody that comes, whether it's a referral of their friend or family or team, is like we care about each other so much. And when we opened up Good Thief, in comparison, I mean, it's just reflecting. Uh, it was, because we were running so many different things, it was more we were not as hands on, and now we're having a complete flip on the leadership team. And
Yes.
again, going back to our core, like what is our core? And I think sometimes if you don't have that, you attract maybe not the best people for your company, or
Yes.
your products and service is like kind of like confused and things like that. And so I find at Anchi, we just knew we wanted to make really wholesome, authentic Vietnamese food. We're not changing the recipe, but we're going to present it beautifully. We're going to make it a place where people from all cultures and ages can come and feel connected and bond over really good food. and cocktails, and that's kind of our philosophy, right? Like local, we only BC wines, and it's never changed, and it's been so solid. Good thing we're being more playful, more rebellious, so it's like we deviate a lot, but I find like we have to go back to like, okay, what is Good Thief about it? What's the core value? And honestly, the whole like team first values and stuff can go through any business model. And
Yes.
so
Yes, it
we're
can.
building that team now there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good for you and your mom's advice on like sticking to kind of your core values and don't get rocked. Um,
Yeah. And
yeah.
it's true. It's hard though, because you do get a lot of noise uh, put at you all the time, and you do kind of have to filter it out and decide, okay, is this good advice? Should I listen to it? Should I not listen to it? So
Yeah.
sometimes you do have to sit back and go, no, that wasn't good. Let's find someone else to talk to, because it is hard. It is hard.
Oh, yeah. And and you know,
Mhm.
people, I mean, nowadays, I think now we're finally saying, what do we feel inside? We're like,
Yes.
you know, yes, logic is strong, but like, what is our gut saying? And so, yeah, I know I go by a lot of gut. I mean, a lot of my logical friends are like, okay, you're like highly emotional. You make no sense. You show me the data. And I'm like, sometimes you don't need the data. Like, there was a study, a Harvard study recently that was released, and it said, you know, your friendships at the age of 50 is like the most significant, and it like predicts your happiness and health later on. And it's like those core friendships and relationships that you have that predicts your health. And it's like, it's even stronger. The effect of that is stronger than, say, the negative effects of drinking, smoking, and stuff. And, but like, I knew that intuitively. I mean, I'm not saying I'm beating a Harvard study, but sometimes you know, it's like a gut feeling. Like it makes sense. Like imagine having a confidant your whole
Yes.
life, you know, or and through personal experience, having a group of friends is so important going through like life, family changes and things like that. Yeah.
Having the people that you don't have to filter your thoughts, and you can
It's
just be
important.
comfortable, because
Yeah.
you know that they love you, and that it's the same kind of situation where you want to just be able to talk freely with the people around you and not be worried that you may make a mistake in your sentence and it's held against you, because we're
Yeah.
all people, and it's hard to always be on.
Oh.
And
Oh
you want to
yeah.
have those people that are like that, just are with you no matter what.
Yes, yes. And I find like, you know, in recent years, I find a lot of my friends that lead in different industries, um, we do kind of need that. Sometimes it's really helpful to have, you know, friends. You know, you're in nutrition and nutrients, and I'm like in sauces. Is different, but like being able to talk to each other. Sometimes you can't talk to your team.
Yes, yes, sometimes
You know,
you need one
because you have to be
outside.
strong. You have to be
Yes.
strong and collected, and everything's okay. You definitely can't talk to media. No, just kidding. Um,
I was gonna say,
right?
when people ask you how's that going, or did you make a decision on something, and you're like, yes, it's perfect. It's a well thought out decision. I used my data.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, so it's really nice. And so, yeah, when you connected and said, "Oh, let's have a chat," I was like, "Yes, please." And it's about women promoting other women, right?
It
Like
is.
uplifting each other. Because at the end of the day, if you win, I win, I win, you win. Like it's, I
It's
tell
true.
my friends that too. I support their successes
Well,
because I
of
get,
course, and we all should, because there's so many spots at the table, and there's so much, like, it's just, there's so many opportunities that you don't always have to be in, like, it's not a competition everywhere we turn. Actually, very interesting, my daughter's taking pitching lessons, and
oh,
at the end of the last session, the instructor came over, pulled all the girls together, and was like, if you're upset today at how it was, she's like, you are only in competition with yourself. The only person that you need to deal with is you. So if you want to feel different about this situation, she's like, then you either have to work harder at it or do something different. She's like, you can't look at the people around you and think, well, they're ahead of me or they're doing this better. She's like, that's not what this is about. She's like, we're here for you to feel better about you, and you to get better. Like, obviously the
yes,
whole point is to get better at pitching, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's for you only. It's your own accountability. Stop looking at everybody else. You're here for yourself
That's
in
good
that sense.
advice.
Like, like you don't, we're not sitting here going, oh, that person launched a product and oh, that person's in this store. Why aren't we there? And
Oh,
how do we get better? We need to look at ourselves and do our own like steps forward.
right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, sometimes it's inspirational. Like you're like, oh
Yes.
wow, they got that faster. Oh, they did that so well, and it's like, oh, noted. I need to work a little bit harder or try a little bit harder, or connect with them and be like, oh, can you help me kind of get there?
Yes.
Um, but you're right because if we end up like just looking everywhere around us and not what we're doing, we're gonna fall behind for sure,
Yes.
right? And everybody's different, every product's different, right? Yeah,
Well, we're
I
all at
totally
different
agree.
stages. And yes, I agree with the inspirational part. I do agree with that. And you
Yeah.
always think, well, they're working really hard. I
Yes.
also, I should, I need to do this. But also not like competition wise, but more like, wow, like they're working so hard. And I had a point with this, but I know I've forgotten what I was going to say.
You're gonna
That's
say
okay.
something about business development
I
or
was.
something.
I was gonna say something. It was like
We're
right at the
gonna
tip of the tongue. It was great. But to be honest, these
yes,
days my brain has great thoughts, and then every
yes.
once in a while I'm like, wow, it's all gone. They do tell me that's perimenopause, but I've decided it's not real. So
Oh
I'm
yes,
like,
we were
it's fine.
talking
It's not
about that.
happening. It's not happening. My brain is functioning perfectly fine. So it's
It's real. And we have to be gentle on ourselves. It's happening. And the more that we kind of normalize it, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
it's
actually at an
happening.
appointment. I was at an appointment for my daughter. And she was asking me this question, and I had a full sentence, and then it just kind of like I lost it halfway through the conversation. And I looked at her and I was like, I have no idea what I was going to say. And she started laughing, and she's like, it's just our age. And I was like, and then I'm sitting there laughing, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, it'll come back to me.
She's so cute. It's just our age.
She's like,
She's
don't
heard
worry
us
about it.
say it. She's
Yeah.
heard you say it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I,
clearly you've heard this more than once.
ever since having babies, it's my memory's been shot. It's just been shot.
Which is
And
probably funny because you probably still know where that one item is in the house, behind the something in the cupboard to the left. Someone asks you where a sock is. I bet you could find it.
yeah, yeah. The other day, the house got tidy, and my kid was like, "I can't find anything now that it's tidy." I'm like,
It's
"What
all put
do you
away.
mean?" It's not that tidy. It's not that
No.
tidy. Yeah. And so like, what's new? What's new and exciting with KidStar?
It's
You
it's
can,
busy. It's an amazingly busy summer. We got into
okay.
Shoppers Drug Mart. We listed in May. So that's been
Congratulations.
like our current project and making sure everyone knows that it's in stores, on the
Okay.
shelf. They can find it there. So that's kind of been our summer thing. And then, of course, back to school for us is our biggest time of year. Kids
Yes.
getting back into routine, making sure their nutrients are ready to go. We want to, make sure that teachers and kids aren't sick for the first month. So making sure that our bodies are ready for all of that is kind of
Yes.
it's our time of the year. So we've been getting ready for all of that. And of course, we have our big trade show in Canada, CHFA in Toronto. So that's happening in
Oh,
the end of
September.
September. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're going to TO.
Yes, yes. And then we actually, I don't know, they haven't announced it yet, but I believe there's also a Dragon's Den marketplace occurring around that time. So we're hoping to also make sure that we are in the market for that little
Wow.
past Dragon's Den
Are they
participants. So
are they coming? Oh, are you a Dragon's Den participant?
yes, I
Can
am
you tell
from,
me about that?
yes.
This is
See, I think
huge.
we were, I should memorize it. I think I'm season 18. Um, I'm sure
What?
someone's like, no, you weren't. You were something, something. But I aired, it was 2 years ago we aired, and I was in November. So, no, it was an amazing experience. And anybody that is thinking about, or they're on the fence for applying, I would
Yes.
apply. Apply
Really?
100%. Yes, yes,
Okay, we're gonna talk offline about this
yeah.
because I don't know, like the questions that they ask you on the spot, I might not have the answers.
Well, you get to practice. You know what's
Okay.
happening before you go. But no, it was
Okay.
when I went for my audition, I found out the day before. So the day before I found out that it was happening in Vancouver. Fill out this form, let us know, and it was like an open call. So I
No.
was like, okay, I have 12 hours. Like I can make this happen. And actually it started snowing. And so as you know, for Vancouver, It doesn't always
Nobody's
end
moving.
well.
Oh,
And I had my wagon of things, and I got dropped off at the front of CBC, and I went and did my little audition. And then they tell you it's we'll call you, don't call us scenario.
oof. Yeah. Hmm.
And then I got a call a few weeks later, and then I got my date. So it was a great experience. And if I was in another situation with a different company or something, I would do it
Yes.
again. It was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
nerve
Okay.
wracking. Don't get me wrong. Like I think that it was probably the most excited and nervous I've ever been in my entire life. But it was great.
Congratulations. And so what happened after? Okay, so you go and then you
Yeah.
pitch
So
it.
then you pitch it, and then you don't know if you're going to get aired.
Okay.
So until 2 weeks before your date. So we
Wow.
had a handshake deal in the show. And then
Wow.
we did some due diligence. We didn't end up signing in the very end, but we did about
Okay.
4 months of due diligence. And then my
Wow.
episode aired in November. So we had to wait from May to November. We couldn't talk about it at all.
Oh, that's
So
hard.
no one knew except for like the three people that were part of it, and that was it. And it was really hard.
Yeah.
And then we finally got to air, and I was like, okay, now I get to talk about it. People keep asking me, and so
Yeah.
it was great.
And so did it help, like whether there was like a deal or no deal at the end, did it help you with like building your business?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It was great. Just being on TV and having more people know about your product, I think hands down that is
Oh.
beneficial. I have
Oh.
lots of friends that have done it through the industry, a lot of female entrepreneurs.
Right.
And one of them was actually afraid to watch her own episode because she didn't think it went well. I watched it for her beforehand and I was like, you need to get your website ready. I said, you are gonna have sales. And
Yeah.
she's like, I don't believe you. And I'm like, watch the episode.
Yeah.
And even though she didn't get a deal, during the show, they all talked about how much they liked her product. Right.
Really?
So yes. So even
Okay.
though she didn't get a deal, she got amazing PR. And even in
Yeah.
one of the clips, one of them was like, "I can't wait to have this at home." So like
Okay.
it was awesome for her. And it was so funny because she's like, I didn't tell anybody that it was airing, and I was so nervous. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Make sure your website won't crash." And she's like, "Okay."
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you also sell direct too on your
We do,
website?
yeah. We have a direct website. A lot of our website is also educational. So a lot of people go to the website to learn more about us, and then
Oh.
whether or not what part of Canada they're in, a lot of
Yes.
people will buy online from an online retailer in Ontario instead for shipping,
Right.
or that kind of thing. But yeah, we also do.
Good for you and congratulations. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm glad I talked to you about this because the Dragon's Den was coming. Somebody said you should apply. I'm like, no way. I'm gonna get like killed up there with like all the questions of, I don't know. Um, but I think there's opportunity to prepare and
Yes.
then just go have fun and it's good PR.
And you also have an amazing
That's
story. So it's not just like, oh, I also have them here. I was like, I wanted to make sure everyone saw them.
Oh yes, thank you.
They've been in our kitchen in the
No.
office, and so every time someone gets something, they're like, or like they'll come to the office, be like, "Well, I have chicken, but like I didn't bring anything," and I'm like, "It's in
Yeah.
the fridge."
So good. It just picks anything up. Like just adds
It's
that
so
flavor.
good. I
Yeah.
know when we met on the rooftop, and all I thought was every time I was like, "This is amazing. This is amazing." I'm like, I want to eat it all.
Right? Even if you just have cut veggies and stuff like that, or
That's
or
so
like
smart.
takeout, like next day average takeout, you can like add to it.
Okay, so I have
Yeah.
one question before we
Okay.
do end that is more structured. Okay.
Oh, structured. Okay.
Okay, so we covered most of the topics, and I guess I always want to know if there's more sauces coming down the line or more line
Oh.
extensions, but I won't make you answer
Oh.
that because you never know where you're going with that one. But I
Yes.
wanted to know if you've ever been part of a community, an accelerator, a program, a grant program, anything like that, that you
Oh.
actually felt was beneficial for others to join.
Right. You know what? In the last year, I've applied to a few things, and one is the Buy BC program. and that's, products made in BC, and it just promotes the Buy BC kind of logo, and that's been helpful. So basically, they have this matching funding. So you can apply. Sometimes it's around production or business development or product development, and sometimes it's more marketing. So they have different themes for every funding cycle. And say if the grant is like 30,000, it's like you put in 15,000, they give you 15,000 kind of thing, up to 30. Um, the tricky part is you have to have those funds yourself first, and then they
Yes.
reimburse you after.
Yeah.
But that's helpful. I mean, it helps continue like the economy in BC, but it helps you get 50% off of like your production or your labels or what you need. So I
Okay.
think I'm actually in it right now.
That's
And
actually very interesting.
yeah, I really like it. And I need to use it up. I gotta hustle. It's really,
We we've been in part of us a few of those where you apply and
yeah.
then they finally tell you yes or no, but then they give you a window to spend the money. And actually, we didn't find out with one of them until like middle of November last year, and they said you have to. This is finished January 1st, and we were like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
And
there
then
are
I was like,
timelines.
let's go, guys, spend the money because it's the same thing. You got reimbursed 50%, but you have to spend the money and you have to have the money to
Yes.
spend the money. So it was a little bit of like, okay, how do we do this in a short time frame and get the most out of it?
Right, right. So that kind of helps us push us a little bit, like timeline wise, and then financially, it will help once we get the reimbursement. So
Yeah.
that program, I would suggest us looking. There's some government, like federal and provincial, like grants. So just kind of dig for it. I've been told there's also BC Food and Beverage. That's a great organization with different workshops and other like women or other founders, and they talk about different things like distribution one time, or they might talk about product development another day, or like all women owned. So there's different themes. I find those conversations are helpful, and like that's like good networking if
Yes.
you want to kind of meet other people in the industry. Other than that, I know CHFA has that Launchpad program
Yes.
or incubator. If it's your first time, you get like you only have to pay a fraction to have a stand. I think that's great to kickstart in one of the largest trade shows, CHFA. I haven't done they have that launch. Don't they have
The
that
launch
thing
pad.
where,
Yes.
yeah, kind of like Dragon's Den, but
Yeah.
for them. So did you do that too?
I didn't do it because your products have to be new, they have to be in a certain range of new. And
Got
so
it.
the first time we tried to do it, we were a few months off
Mm,
the time. They have changed it a few times since
okay.
we tried. But yeah, you have to have a new product or a new something. And
Yeah,
so we haven't really hit the qualifications, but
got
you
it.
should do it for the Vancouver show because that would be pretty awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
I have gone, so I don't know if I'm like still new. I haven't done it, but maybe if I add a new product or something, we have
Well,
to.
they're
Yeah, go ahead.
perfect. I don't know. I think that you could probably even, depending what their qualifications are, even these ones may actually be because you
Qualify?
haven't exhibited, have you?
I have.
You have. Okay.
I've done CHFA. I've done one in Toronto, one in Vancouver already.
Okay. The
Yeah.
incubators or in the incubator
Uh,
alley or
I was in Incubator Alley I think for the Vancouver one. I don't think for the Toronto one.
oh, okay.
I think I was regular in the Toronto. Or
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember now. It's been a couple years. It's been a couple
It
years.
almost sounds like you need to go back.
I know, right? I know. Are you on the board? Are you on the CHFA committee?
No, but I always like it when I know people there because then during the sample time I'm like,
Oh yeah. No,
yeah.
it's fun.
I can
That's
only
one.
eat so many vitamins. Okay.
I'm definitely gonna stock up. I'm like next week we'll be setting up their desks, getting their clothes all ready, getting rid of some summer clothes that's like too small, and then getting their vitamins, their books, like all the nice
All the
like
things.
stationery stuff. Yes, they're solid vitamin takers, and it's so cute that we use it, and then I see you, and I was like putting two and two together. I was like that bottle, and then like all of that. I was like, oh my gosh, I do know your freaking vitamins.
When you were at the event and you stood up and you were talking about something, and I know the woman thought you were talking about your restaurant, but you were talking about the sauces. And I looked over and I was like, oh, well, she's a celebrity and she's in my neighborhood. And I was like, now I get to meet her in real life.
No way, no way. Yeah. Uh, no. Yeah, thank you. I know. It's like I think because people love the restaurant, and so I kind of, um,
And there's
but it's the
always a lineup.
thank
Always.
you,
Every time I
thank
drive by,
you.
I'm like, ooh, it's a busy night over there.
Thank you. Yeah, there's just I don't know. I think the team loves what they're doing. The food's consistent. It's just so nice. It's anybody can come in. Like it's very approachable Vietnamese food. It's fun. It's like become a community hub and I love our do you know the reservation by donation program?
Ooh, no, I don't.
So like you know the vision actually for Anh and Chi, I used to call it community hub. So when we first opened, I in the Instagram profile, it wasn't like Vietnamese restaurant or anything. It was a hub on Main Street, like community hub, and it's really become that. So when we came out of COVID, and then there's those restrictions where you have to stay like 10 feet away from one another, but usually there's that line. So we said, okay, we need to protect our team and then our guests. How do we do it? And my brother, he went to this one-time thing and learned that you can donate to a nonprofit of your choice,
Ooh,
and then that $10 will go to that nonprofit, and then it secures the table. Because other restaurants will ask you to like put something from your visa, and they'll keep it if you don't show up. It's to minimize people not showing up. But anyway, so we started this program, and it's now 4 years in, and we're, I think, close to $500,000 raised and donated. Yeah,
that's amazing.
and it's just a sense of like, we have Anchi as the restaurant. It's busy, it's thriving, but we're not forgetting that we're a part of this whole like very diverse fabric in Vancouver, especially like in the downtown east side that's very
Yep.
close to us. And I think one is raising awareness. Even if you don't book through reservation by donation, you kind of see like what are some priority issues, and maybe it's up for discussion at your next family meal. And if you do donate, then that dollar to dollar goes there. And when you see the faces of like the frontline workers, and you drop off the check, like, and you calculate, okay, it's $10 a person, and there's a check of like 18,000. You know how many clicks, how
Yes.
many people support their work, and it's like validation because it's really hard work. I think it's easy to maybe hand over money and facilitate that process. We just pay for the processing fees on the online platform, and we do the admin work and coordinate it. But that money is from each and every single one of the guests that come. And then we made sure, because back like equity, make sure it's fair. 95% of our seating is all walk-in, so only a small fraction is through this reservation by donation.
Wow.
And
That's
so,
pretty
we don't want
amazing.
to exclude anybody kind of
Mhm.
thing. Yeah. And now Good Thief is on board. And so we really try to keep it like very community focused. And I think by sticking to those, like doing things that contribute to your core values, people feel it and see it and share it. And then that's maybe why it's still busy now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
No, it's
I believe
amazing.
so. I believe so.
No, and you always think like, what are the small things that we can do? Because also when you're starting businesses, it is hard to donate certain things, and it's hard to participate because, of course, you're also struggling to grow.
1000%.
But wherever you can, and when it aligns so well, it's almost just it's easy. It's like, okay, this is one easy step that will benefit a multitude, the community, all these things,
Yes.
and we can facilitate this while growing is
Yes.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, and we hope more restaurants will take it on. It's like pretty seamless. It's pretty seamless to add to kind of like your flow of work and stuff. But as a CPG company, I'm sorry. I think one of the questions your teammates sent over was like, "What's your biggest lesson?" And I'm like, "Cash flow, cash flow."
Oh,
What?
if someone doesn't say cash flow, it's almost like, how are you doing this? Because
I
it's always
know.
money. The question is that answer is always money. And it's true. And it's so hard. And then you think you're in a good standing. You've got like a few good months and you're like, oh, my cash flow is great. And then you have to pay for your next few orders of product.
Yes.
And then you're like, well, it's gone.
Mine is yes. I just did a production run. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
you're like, that
Now
looked
it's
great for about a day. And now we're back. We're back. I know I'm always like, pay everybody that's important. And then it's so hard. And like when you, even when you do the grants and things like that, and you're like, okay, let's try to get some additional income through all these different programs, and then you see how hard it is to fill out the grant paperwork.
Mm.
You're like, how is anybody getting any of this money? So like, of course, after like the first few, you kind of get into the groove, you got all the information, you kind of plug it all in, but
Yeah.
it's almost like you need an employee to help
Yes.
you with all the
Yes.
things to get more money for your cash flow, but then you have an employee to pay. So you're just like,
Yeah,
how?
I know, I know. And how many years have you been doing this? I need to
We're
respect
in
it.
our fifth, so we're now officially in our
Okay,
fifth year. We launched in COVID,
congratulations.
so we launched in January of 2020. So
Wow,
we had
okay.
a fun little first 6 months of what do we do now,
Yes,
and then by September we kind of got in the groove, just like everybody else of okay, this is how we live with what's going on. But
right.
yeah,
Wow. Okay, I launched right after. I'm a year behind you.
oh
So you're
yeah.
my elder sister in this industry, really.
Well,
I
and you
mean,
know, I feel your pain because we ship glass bottles of iron around the country, and you have some beautiful glass bottles to ship around the country.
I know. It was such so hard. It was like a no-brainer financially to do like plastic bottles.
Yes,
But then I'm like, okay, the sauces are acidic and plastic's so bad for the environment.
yes,
Like, how do I do it? Anh and Chi is like this elevated Vietnamese food. So it's like, so it is, they are glass bottles and
they're
I don't
beautiful. They are beautiful.
they're gonna be in that tall one. The short one was temporary. That was like one of the questions was what was your biggest mistake?
Oh.
That those jars came out of one of my biggest mistakes. uh, but yeah, so the new line is both tall, elegant, like olive kind of
Yes, I was gonna
bottles
say
and
the olive oil
slender,
style.
smaller snout, so you can like pour it out.
Yes, yes.
We're so excited, we started, honestly, we started at like maybe two or three little boutique coffee shops, like Welks or like Federal Store was one of the first clients. People who really value locally made products, or women-owned products, and so we started there. And I thought, my first CHFA experience, I was headhunted. Our booth had because of Amélie, like the brand, we were lining up. I had brokers, I had distributors, I had everybody kind of like, we want
All over
to
you.
sign you
Yeah.
up. And then there's this lovely man. I don't even know his name. He worked for a granola company. He's like senior sales. I might recognize his face, but he said, I know you're really excited, but just trust me on this. I've been in this industry for a long time. You need to do it. You should do it yourself. Get your boots on the ground and sell and do all of that yourself, and then organically, and then think about distributors and stuff. Don't start signing up and all these fees and you imagine like going so big and you're dumping all of that in to production and then it doesn't sell on the shelf, all of that. And
Yes.
so that was the best piece of advice. And now we are organically, I don't know, more than 20, 30 stores around Vancouver. And I kind of make these pipe dreams. It's like, okay, last year was Vancouver, this year will be like Vancouver Island. And I didn't have any active like kind of strategy of how to do outreach on the island, but it's happening. So I
Yes.
have people messaging me from their stores from Victoria, Ladysmith, Bowen Island, be like, we want your sauces. How do we
Yes.
pick up? Like, how do we? And it's just, and sometimes I'll just drop them off, I'm like on a family trip and I'll drop them off. But it's happening. So we're like growing onto Vancouver Island, and hopefully in the next couple of years we can go across Canada. We'll follow KidStar New Dreams.
That's amazing. And you
We'll
know, your customers are going to be almost more important than anything because they're the ones that are probably at the stores going, "Why don't you have this here? Like, why
Yes.
can't I buy this from you?" And then the stores are like, "Well, I don't know how to get it. Now I'm going to get it." So, I think that that's like the best part is when your customers love your product so much that they are almost out there doing the outreach for you being like, "We want this in your store because we want to take this every day." So, it's
Yes,
very
yeah.
exciting.
It's really nice. There's a big loyal support for An and Chi and the flavors and the family story, and once you start using it, it's so easy. to cook. Like we're so busy as moms, as entrepreneurs or full-time workers. Like we're just so busy and but then we want healthy food for our kids. So,
Yes.
if we can get like some great veggies or some great fish and stuff and then just like add this for like the burst of flavor so that they actually eat it. It's like a
The
win-win,
actually
right?
eat it part, you're just
They
like, can you
actually
just
eat it.
try it? Can you just try it?
Oh,
Even we were at Spanish Banks yesterday, and we were at the concession stand. I was like, "Do you want fish and chips?" Like, seems like a simple. And my youngest daughter was like, "But why is the fish like that?" I'm like, "Well, it's deep fried. Like chicken. Like this is a thing we like." And she was like, "Maybe." I think there you are.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay.
I'm
I was
sorry.
like, "There she is."
Somebody called me. Wait, what happened? What did your
I was
youngest
saying,
say
oh,
about
we
the fish and
try
chips?
to get my youngest to eat fish and chips, which I thought would be a pretty simple request. And
Yeah.
she kind of looked at me like, well, let me see it. So she made me break it in half, and she's like, well, can I just eat the fish? And I'm like, well, yes, of
Smart
course. Of
girl.
course. But in my head, I was like, when I was a kid, if someone was like, do you want fish and chips? I'd be like, yes. Like this is like, a deep fried fish
Oh,
with French fries. Like, come on. But it
they
was
didn't
really
question
funny.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I never questioned that as a kid. I'd be like, this looks like fun. Even though like my mom was very, very everything was made from scratch. Everything was like
Mm,
she made but like we always had things like fish and chips and we always had that kind of stuff. And
yes.
but no, my youngest kind of just stared at me a bit and was like, what is that
We're
on the
doing
outside? And I was like, batter.
flour.
And she was like,
We
I'll take the fish. And I was like, okay,
I
honey.
love her. I love her. She's discerning. She's like, I don't need this all this stuff.
She didn't
The
trust me
fish.
either on it. She didn't trust me on the batter. And I was like, okay.
She's eating so healthy. This is great. My youngest only eats the batter and gives me back then gave me back the fish. Now she
Yeah.
eats both. Yeah, I threaten her a little bit. If you don't, then I don't know. We can't go to the playground or something.
I know.
But
We do
that's
what we need to
great,
do to get the food in them. We're like, come on. A lot of
right?
what we do at home is like more of a charcuterie style. Everything is kind of
Ooh,
broken apart and put out. And I'm like,
okay.
eat because my youngest doesn't like things. She doesn't like it mixed. She will eat every vegetable as long as it is not in the same bowl.
Yeah,
And so, she's just at that
this is
age where
good.
she's like, I like it, but if you have those two things touch, I am not eating it. And I'm like, this is a new phase. That's a new
Yes.
level unlocked of parenting that I get to. My other two weren't really like that. They didn't really care as much if they were mixing. But my youngest
Yes.
is now. She's like, I'm 8. I've made a new choice,
Wow.
and you are going to separate. So I'm like, she'll eat it, but don't touch it.
Yeah,
I'm hoping
yeah.
it's
I don't know what it
momentary.
is, but we'll do it. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think yeah, it's her preference.
It
It's
is,
her preference. She wants to exert her preference.
And
We'll
I
do it.
also always think adults have their preference. They know exactly how they like things, but no one is telling them what to eat or how to eat it. Right. So
Oh,
there's,
imagine. Yeah.
right. And so our kids are always being told what to eat, how to eat it, how fast to eat it, how slow to eat it. And I think it's just so much that it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm sitting
These are
here.
my boundaries, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, okay, let's start this. But having food, you're right, food that tastes good, food that we want to eat, it makes every
Yes.
experience just so much nicer.
Yes. And sometimes, and also knowing that they take vitamins every day, knowing that if that day have more batter than the fish, then it's okay, right?
Yes.
So I think that is also comforting too. And my mom was just saying, I never suggested that you take vitamins, but now in my older age, I wish I started sooner.
Yes.
So and so it's great that you provide not only like the vitamins, but the literacy around it too, the education bit.
Thank
I
you.
need to be a better vitamin taker. I just didn't like pills, but now they have gummies and they have chewables and they have powder mix and
Yes,
yeah.
things are changing. It's much nicer now.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so
Uh,
one more thing before we go, because of
okay.
course we were chatty Cathy's. So, all right. Where do you see the sauces? We're going to stay with sauces in our
Yes,
CPG world here.
yes.
In the next 5 years. So, like when we have our next talk, and you're going to tell me all about the things you've done.
No.
What is that like? What's one of the things that you have?
I
on
think
your
that's,
list?
you have to dream big,
You
right?
do.
We have to dream big. Try to hold me accountable to it. In 5 years, all over North America, all
Yeah.
over North America.
I think that's
Definitely in
not
the
big enough.
in
I
the
think we need to go bigger.
really global.
Let's do
Actually, I
it.
did. I did. Should we? Is that your goal?
Yes, so we have you should connect with our trade
Okay.
commissioners in
Oh,
BC because
yes,
Canadian made products are sought after all around the world.
yes.
And a lot of the countries like really like Canadian exports. So,
Especially
outside of North
nutrients,
America.
especially medicine, nutrients, vitamins.
Yes, and the food. So
Um.
like cherries, I found out that Canadian
Oh,
cherries are like one of the most exported things to I think Vietnam and somewhere else. Yeah, it was like
really?
we were at a thing and they were like, yeah, they like our cherries. We actually export more cherries to these countries than we have in Canada. Like it was very interesting to know there's select
Wow.
things in our province here that are, you know,
That is very highly
people
sought
want our
out.
stuff.
Yes. Well, I think like because our standard, like our health standard and lifestyle and like our research and all of that is like pretty forward, like ahead, that they value. They think like Canadian lifestyle and health and
Yes.
all the guidelines is like, you
We're
can't
very
like pay
strict.
off. You can't pay off people for those things. And so with that comes with like the safety and the quality of the food and the products. And I think that's why. And there's a sense of being like prestige, like I can afford this Canadian product. I have been actually reached out by exporters that export Canadian products to internationally, and I realized, gosh, just get get her going in BC and Canada, and then think, and so. But maybe I'm gonna, take your suggestion and that push, that shove
Well,
into the
like
international market.
of course, I love the Canadian market. Of course, it's our bread. It's like, it's our place. But when you
Yeah.
look at the population of Canada and the size of Canada, there are other markets that have less shipping issues and they're smaller and they have more density. And like
Yes.
sometimes certain markets might be more beneficial, like as our secondary market. It's always
Yes.
just interesting to think about where we could go outside of North America as Canadian
Oh.
companies.
Oh. Okay, that's the next chat. Where are we going next?
That's right. Maybe we'll end up on a trade commission flight together and be like, yes, we're here.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Okay, let me know where you're going, and then I'll just, I joke with my friends. It's like wherever you're going, I'm gonna tag along and go there too.
You're like, I'll
Yeah.
show up and say hi.
Say hi. Bring
But you have to
sauces and
bring your
vitamins.
sauces so that we all have something good to eat.
Thank you. Yes, yes. I'll cook. I'll cook. I'll be like, your team, the sporting team that
You're like,
brings
I'm
food
here
and
for it
cooks.
all. I want to make sure everyone knows your social media handles and your website. And I believe you also sell your sauces online, right?
You can
Or
order
pick
it,
up.
but it's still pickup. It's still
Okay.
pickup. Occasionally, if like somebody really loves it and they message, we'll ship it out. We haven't done the e-commerce thing yet. I know a lot of my friends in the industry say yes, like do it. Direct sales are best. Like the big cuts.
Yes. Yes.
But you can get them at Anh and Chi. You can get them at Stong, City Avenue. There's a few. There's going to be a few big name retailers coming, and it's in the works. I haven't announced it yet,
It's very
but it's going to be
exciting.
easier to find. And then all the small boutique like fish, like Daily Catch or like Fresh Ideas or Hopcott Farms in Langley. So like yeah, and if it's not in your store, please ask for it because that's how our product gets there. Just be like, "Where are the onion cheese sauces? Why don't you have them?"
That's right.
That would be great. And if you love it, share with your friends. It's really word of mouth is like the number one the number one way of actually building a community.
I
Yeah.
agree. That's perfect. Okay. Thank you so
Thank you
much. And
so
I
much,
cannot wait to see you
Caitlin.
again. And maybe I'll see you in the restaurant one of these days.
Thank,
We'll pass
thank
each other
you.
by.
Yes, let me know. Let me know. I know the owner. I can, make sure you have a table.
I'll give him a little side there.
I appreciate you, Caitlin.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thanks,
You as
everybody.
well.